Let's get it.
I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back this feeling for so long. And if you feel like I feel, baby, then come on. Oh, come on. Woo. Let's get it on.
It's crazy, the thing that got me back into basketball. I was at my girlfriend's little brother game. He was in the 8th grade, and they was playing at Tech, a little AAU game, and I went up there with her. It's in the beginning of us talking, and it was I just was watching him play, and he had a whole lot of potential, and you know, the game was pure again. They was young, they was in junior high, they was playing hard, and it did something to me. So, and plus I seen potential in him, so I was trying to help him get further, and you know, trying to network and get his name out there. But in the midst of helping him, it put something in me again to where I was like, I gotta go do this, you know what I'm saying? And I talked to my pops about it, and of course he was all for it. He was pushing me, and that's what made me really want to get back into it, because to be honest, I never was content with not playing no more. You know, I knew I was pretty good when I was young, and I wouldn't have been able to live with myself if I didn't go see what could happen. And it's crazy because when I went back into it, I was like, if I get a D2 offer or NAIA, as long as my college paid for, you know, I'm not tripping. It is what it is. I wasn't even tripping off the D1 thing no more. But of course, once I got back out there, it kind of just took off on me. And it was really a blessing. It was a blessing. Man, when Tiani was born, it changed my life. At the time, I didn't even realize it, but it just slowed everything down. You know, it made me start acting right. It made me grow up, you know, because I was responsible for somebody. You know, I had never dealt with a baby before, and man, I was in love with her from day one, you know, and she was up under me from day one. That's like, you know, I'm her best friend. We each other best friends, so. But raising her, it made me for sure want to get my life on track. It made me want to put myself in a position to where I'll be able to provide the things that I think are necessary when a parent is raising a child. You know, my mama showed me nothing but love my whole life, you know, and that's the only way I know how to love. So that's what I give back to her. And I love her to death. I can't say nothing else about it.
As a player, you know, he's probably one of the most hardworking players that I've had, that I've trained.
Jarred is a team ball player, team first, individual stats second. Kind of player you want on your team, especially as your leader.
Coming up, my Uncle Bruce was, he was more than an uncle to me. He was more like a father figure. He was a great man for me to look up to, family man. He loves his family. His family was always first, and he played ball. He played college ball, and even after college, you know, when I was younger, we would go to his adult league games. He always played basketball, and you know, he always supported me. He would be at my games. He would tell me things I need to work on, and I always took what he said to heart.
Jarred was a real confident player. I'm not gonna say overconfident, but he had that, young kids nowadays call it swag. He had swag even back then. And a lot of that came from just his relationship, I think, with his parents, relationship with his siblings. He was the youngest of 3, so he was real mature.
Man, Jarred has just been a major figure in my life. He has helped me with basketball. He has helped me grow up more as a person, actually, but also a lot in basketball. He showed me the ins and outs, how to improve my IQ in basketball.
He told me his story about how he's been through a whole lot, took the year off from basketball, then he ended up coming right back and getting right back in shape. Now I see him, he's in great shape. He's getting bouncy again. He's getting his jumper back, getting his handles right.
One thing about Jarred that I always noticed is whenever he has his mind made, he's going to do it. Whenever he says that he's dedicated and committed to it, he's going to do it.
He started playing at the age of 5, but as far as a ball, from the time he could sit up, he always had a ball in his hand.
As a child, he was very mischievous, wild, just ridiculously wild. A lot of my girlfriends and some of the girls I went to college with remember him as the wild little boy running through the dorm in his Ninja Turtle underwear.
We were watching a Warriors game one day. He was 3 years old, and he looked at me and said, "Mama, I want you to buy me a uniform like that, and I want to play on a team like that. Find me one." I said, "Okay." So I went and bought the Warriors uniform, put it on him, and I started calling around, and the guy from the Y said he had to be 5, and he fell out crying. So the following year, he said, "I'm 4 now." I said, "Yeah, and you have 1 more year." And when he turned 5, he said, "Call the people." So I called the guy at the Y, and that's where it began.
I'm tripping off the power. Till then, fuck that, the world's out. I'm tripping off the power. Till then, fuck that, the world's out.
Oh, got me messed up today, man. Finna go to the house, take a shower, lay down, get some shots up later on. He's a cat, this guy right here. He's a cat.
Off season is all about, man. We working. That's what pure results is all about. Had to send him to my boy, Ryan, PFT.
Hey, he ain't my real partner, he don't love me.
In junior high, he played his CYO ball, He went to St. Lawrence O2, and he also played with the Oakland Rebels, the AAU ball. That's when he came into his own, and he started getting recruitment letters. He was invited to several basketball camps. We traveled a lot on the AAU team. Those were good times, exciting games. Then he entered high school, and that was a different ball game. People were, including me, we were expecting big things from Jarred because he was being recruited, you know, by the top colleges. I just knew that he would be there one day, and I really can't say what happened, but he lost the desire. He lost his way, and he just started doing what he wanted to do, doing wild things, you know. We were lost. Jarred got out of high school. He wouldn't even watch basketball anymore. That was so odd to me because we used to watch all the games. He was a die-hard Kobe fan. And I would be watching the games and trying to make him watch them with me. He didn't want to. I just didn't know what was going on. He was taking care of his dad. His dad was ill, and he was working little odd and end jobs. And out of the clear blue one day, he called me and said that he wanted to go to college and that he wanted to play ball again. And he asked me if I would move in with him and his dad. And we had been divorced for many, many years by then. I thought he was crazy. But I made him promise me that he would get his degree. And he promised that to me. And I knew he would do it. And I was going to give him that second chance. Jarred's first year at Los Positos, he decided he was going to play basketball again. And I was really happy. But he broke his ankle. And I just knew he was going to give up. But he stayed home for 1 week. And that second week, when I saw him get up and go to school on crutches, I knew we had won. Jarred was rehabbing his ankle, doing everything to make sure that it was right, preparing for the second season. And that's when he came home one day and found his father deceased. That was rough times. That's another time when I thought that he might give up, but he didn't.
Honestly, when I lost my pops, that was the hardest thing I ever went through. It was for sure the most challenging thing for me to overcome.
Because of Jarred's maturity and his understanding of his dad and the health issues, like the term I would use is they were boys. They were real tight.
I missed probably a week of school because we was planning for the funeral and, you know, everything. But that was it. Right after that first week, I was right back at it. The hardest process for me is my whole life, my pops was involved with my sports, you know what I mean? And he's the one who kept wanting me to get back into it. And when I finally did get back into it, right before I was able to play, and for him to come see me play, which I think probably would have gave him some life, you know what I mean? He passed away, but you know, I handled it better than what I thought I would. I mean, it bothers me. I think about him daily, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's also a drive.
Warren really respected Jarred as a child. but he also respected the young man that he was becoming. It was a lot of love. It was really, really, really special. Hard to put into words, you know, but it was really noticeable when you saw them together. They just bonded. It was just something special about their relationship.
You can't really tell anyone how they should handle death, you know what I mean? All I can do is continue to pray, and you know, I know he's in a better place, and that's the most positive way for me to really look at that. That's about it, man. When I started playing at Las Positas, which is my junior college, it took me a minute, man. My timing was off. You know, I wasn't in the shape I needed to be into. I had been removed for the game for, you know, so long. So it took me a minute, you know, but once I got my timing back and my legs up under me, it kind of took off from there. I remember we played City College at City, and it was scouts there and stuff, and I had a good game. I had 30 points that game. I mean, they beat us. But I remember Coach Costello pulling me to the side, and he told me, you know, he's like, they're bigger, stronger, you know, they're a better team than us, but he appreciated the effort. You know, we went hard that night.
One of my favorite games, which was the last game of the season at Ohlone, down 27 at halftime, and I think that was the biggest mental hurdle for JJ. He at halftime, he's frustrated, told, man, they fouling me, they ain't calling it, they doing it. And I told him, look, JJ, shut up and play like you at a gym and you just ain't calling fouls, and watch what happens. I said, if you shut up and play, watch what the rest of the team do. And what does he do? Not only do we come back and win the game, he put on the single best performance I've ever witnessed with my own 2 eyes in a half. For somebody to go off for 27 and maybe 15 rebounds in the second half of the Ohlone game. We come back and win the game, and as he gained more confidence at playing and rebounding and stopped complaining about the refs, the rest of the team jumped right on his back. And again, his leadership skills, without him having to yell at somebody or tell somebody what to do, it was contagious.
Yuba College, they went to the state championship that year, and we played them. We had the game too, man. But I had a really good game that game. I had 37 points against them. And after that happened, it seemed like my recruitment just took off. All of a sudden, I was getting all my phone calls. I started taking my visits. I got to see places I never thought I'd see. So when I first went up to Las Positas, I introduced myself to Coach Costello. And I mean, he gave me a chance. He didn't know who I was. He really wasn't fooling with me, to be honest. But he told me to show up to the workouts and we'll see what happens, you know. And that's all I needed to hear. You know, I have been so far removed from the game for, you know, quite some time that, you know, him telling me he'll let me come do the workouts, that's all I needed to hear. Because I knew what I was capable of deep down inside. I just had to prove to myself that I could still do it once I got back in shape or whatnot. So in the beginning, it was rough. You know, we were trying to figure each other out. We had to get to know each other, you know. But I mean, of course, once season came and I was in shape and my timing, everything came back, we built the trust for each other, and he allowed me to, you know, play ball, you know, and lead. And it's almost like Las Positas was a second chance at life for me, you know. For somebody who didn't graduate high school on time and went to an independent study program to get his diploma, to graduate with an associate's degree from a junior college, I felt like that was a big thing. And it was crazy because Coach Costello, he wasn't really like an affectionate or, you know, hugging type coach or nothing like that. But on my graduation, I'll never forget, he hugged me probably 30 times. You know, I could tell he was really proud of me, you know, and I'll never forget a lot of moments we had, man. That was a good year, and it was a learning experience for me, you know. But of course, when I got the news that he had passed away, it hit me real hard, man, because My first year when I tried to play for him, I broke my ankle, so I couldn't play that year. The following year, going into that year, my father had passed away, and like I said before, that was the toughest time of my life. I remember him sending me flowers to the house for my family, and talking to me in his office, asking me how I'm doing. So it was kind of weird for him to be there for me when I went through that, and then 2 years later, he's gone. And I really can't explain how that made me feel, man. It hit me hard, man. It hit the whole team hard. I kicked it with some of my boys from the squad, like, especially Sed. We stayed by each other, and it just felt like Las Positas really won't be the same no more. He always had an open door for us. We could always go up there and work out. When I came back home from Virginia, I'll go up there and work out, or we'll keep in touch. And I feel like you never really appreciate somebody all the way, or you never really see how much that person meant to you until they're gone, and now that he's gone, it's like, wow, this was the man who gave me a second chance at life, a second chance to play ball. I got a scholarship, to Division I college leaving Las Positas, and I'm willing to bet my last dime when he first met me, he didn't think that would happen, so I mean, that whole situation up there was a blessing in disguise, but he'll really be missed. He'll really be missed.
Since Jarred didn't qualify to go to D1 college out of high school, he had to get his associate's degree. And in order to do that, he took 18 units a semester. Once he achieved his degree, he chose Liberty University.
At the time I felt that was the best situation for not only myself, but, for my family and the plans that I had and what it was I was trying to do or whatnot. And, I went out there, it's way different from California, way different from Oakland or the Bay, whatever. But I still learned from it, and the coaches out there, they pushed me to a level, to where I didn't even think my body could go, so now when I work out, I go even harder because I know I can get to that next step. So, and I met some dudes out there that I'll probably be friends with for the rest of my life, even if we don't talk every day. When we keep in touch, it's like I ain't never left. So, it didn't work out there, especially once I got injured, and so I made the decision to come back home.
Jarred heard that Cal State East Bay was going to have a new staff. He called around, did his research. He liked the feedback that he was getting, so he decided that he would give Cal State a try.
Once I met Coach Arginal, he seemed like a straightforward guy. He looked me in my eyes when we talked. I pay attention to things like that, and he just seems like, so far, all I know him for is he just has a great heart, and he's dedicated to this program. So I was like, let's do it, and I really believe in my heart that we're gonna have a fun, exciting year, and we're gonna make some noise.
Let's get it. Let's
There's one word to describe Jarred.
The truth.
Resilient. Real, one word to describe him, is loyal.
Loyal.
Loyal, absolutely loyal.
To describe Jarred, let me see. One word, I can't think of a word, but it's kind of like, when your coach beats you in one-on-one and the look on his face after I beat him, I can't think of a word to describe how he was feeling. So probably,
Time out.
Awesome.
Genuine.
Genuine.
Very classy. He's a classy young man. You know, he's very rare in his generation for him to have class.
Hilarious.
Crazy. Crazy.
Crazy.
He's nice. I love him, and he's kind.
Ambitious.
Ugly.
Courageous.
Adaptive.
Funny.
I can't come up with just one word. I use a phrase. The one I started off with was can't miss. He's a can't miss kind of person. Not so much a basketball player. A basketball player, the one word would be versatility.
Tenacious. Perseverance.
Honest.
Motivated. Reincarnated.
Reincarnated.
16, he was fat. And now he only weigh about probably maybe 190.
194.
When we was in high school, he was 250.
Opinionated.